So I'm gonna make a quick reaction, talk about, YouTube, age verification, thing on YouTube, right? And it failed, and that did not surprise me, right? So I just searched it up, and people explain, like why, YouTube. Okay, it was just a huge noise, so I just stopped for a moment. A huge motorcycle, just apology for that, but yeah, anyway, just go back to his video, right? Why did the YouTube verification fail? So obviously because it just invades, lots of privacy, right? They want you to show your credit card, your government ID. That it's just a lots of invasion privacy, and YouTube got sued like for like millions of dollars for this, right? So I wasn't look deeply into this, but yeah, people are just very concerned about their privacy, right? So it did not work, right? So yeah, because I've been on YouTube for like the next few months and just nothing happened, right? Maybe they did test out and it's just not working, right? So yeah, YouTube should, be a lot more, stricter, I get it, why they need the YouTube verification, thing, just to, protect minors from, watching, like content that isn't supposed to be, shown to them, right? But I think YouTube needs to do better, making more rules. I think social media should be a little bit more stricter because yeah, like they need to just report more videos, right? This is what I'm suggesting, right? If a content, that isn't supposed to be there, or if it's like harming, people, right? Then it should just be automatically be flagged, right? No question about it. Or sometimes YouTube detectives, like they have to really just remove this straight from this video, right? That way, when kids watch an pro video, the video is not there anymore, right? Yeah, I get it. This happens a lot. A lot of people fake their age and they lie about, and they're dishonest about something, right? So that way, they can like, circumvent, they can your restriction, right? Because when something's inappropriate, YouTube is gonna make only age 18 or above can watch it, right? People can just easily lie, like, let's say that this children is not an 18 years old, right? They can watch the video, without YouTube detecting your actual age, right? So yeah, I feel like this sends a message to me saying that this is the parents responsibility. They need to look after their children, right? Maybe the parents should be monitoring them, not YouTube, right? That's not YouTube's job, right? So yeah, the kids definitely need to monitor what their kids do online, right? I feel like lots of kids don't want to tell their parent, but the parent has to look after them. That's their job, right? I feel like we cannot take care of other people's responsibility, right? They need to hold them responsible, right? Or else how can you get better in life, right? How can you if you can't take your own responsibility, right? So yeah, like YouTube keep tracking this and that. Like if you watch this certain content, then it can verify your age, right? That can be inaccurate sometimes because there's weirdos out there, that doesn't behave like a normal human, that will not act like a normal behavior, right? I get like people do normal thing, then there's nothing to be concerned about, right? Nothing to look after. But they're weird or doing something suspicious, then yeah, then you should be concerned about that, right? But still, yeah, because I seen that companies get sued for like millions of dollars. I remember like one time, like Target or something, or Walmart, right? They've been like data leak, people's information, and they just lost like millions of dollars because they expose your customers' information, right? If YouTube does the same thing, that should not be surprising, right? That should not be. So yeah, this is why you got this feature, you flag the video, right? This is why the feature is there. It wasn't designed, for like no reason. There's a reason why I designed it, right? YouTube should find alternative way, of like not, harm people, but then making things, safer, right? People complain that, YouTube is too strict. I think that maybe Bruce should have gotten more stricter, right? Maybe that's so that way we raised people the right way, right? If you gave them too much freedom, then what's gonna happen, right? People's gonna, they're gonna be using freedom, and then like they're just not gonna act right, when they get more mature, right? When they grow up, right? So yeah, maybe YouTube should hire more people or more, AI robots, going over every single video, right? I mean, yeah, millions of videos are uploaded like every single day, right? YouTube gets so popular, right? I was like back in like before 2010s, like this wasn't the thing, right? I didn't know YouTube back then, right? Until like 2009. I never used YouTube, but this is the first time I watched a YouTube video was late of 2009. So you can say 16, that's how unpopular it is, right? If you show this to a kid, then they definitely know what YouTube is. I did not know YouTube until 2011, but most people already know YouTube. Most kids, when they're like the first maybe like 5 years of their life, right? So yeah, technology was not a thing, when I was young, right? I mean, when I was young, I always played video games and all that stuff, right? So, or even ask people from older generation, none of this was accessible to them, right? Then this is why people feel like they're luxury, like they grew up in the generation where there's a lot of technologies, right? So yeah, we grew now this century is known as technology, right? That's all we know. So I think there's nothing much else to say, but yeah, I mean, and I feel like if YouTube keeps track of everybody that watches video, then it's just kind of too much. But then you have to keep track of adults as well, right? I mean, that's just gonna be too much. I figured that out, right? They just need to hire like a bunch of robots, just to look after your activity. It's something like that, right? So, or people making burner account, people make spam accounts, right? I mean, those are the one they should be going after for, right? So yeah, man, just my reaction, right? So yeah, I feel like YouTube is strict, but just not strict enough. It is kind of YouTube's fault, saying if you flag a video or if it's a little inappropriate, like they don't want to flag it down, they don't want to take it down. That's YouTube's fault, right? So yeah, I mean, if multiple person flag a video, then of course then they're gonna look more into it. But if it's just one person, unfortunate, it's not gonna get down. But I guess nothing is perfect, right? We try to our best to make it as perfect it is, but either cause controversy or it's just sometimes there's a legal thing done on YouTube, but people don't take it. People just either ignore it or they don't take it seriously. So yeah, it is what it is, man, right? There's just nothing much else to say, right? I guess from here on, I guess the younger generation, the younger than me, I guess they're gonna suffer, or they're not gonna be as good as our older generation. Now they're just living with technologies, right? That's just in my opinion, right? I feel like the older generation are probably more successful, right? Because they went through tougher life. I mean, they're obviously gonna be tougher, right? Now you look at the younger generation, the younger one, they don't know what life is like, back in the old days. they're never gonna figure out. They never lived through it. I'm glad that I was, you know, a little happy at the same time that I was born right before 2000, right? Because yeah, right after 2000, you know, things has been changing so fast, you know, in the last like 20 years, or since I was born, right? And I wasn't, you know, living in this world, you know, not even just barely a quarter of a century, right? But think about this, man. I'm not even 10,000 days old yet. And you don't get to 10,000 your birthday and you have to be at least 27, right? So yeah. Well, if you have more thought about this, just comment below. I'm pretty sure I'm missing it all because I don't think all through it, but I'm thinking, you know, the main big part, you know, that I need to say in this video. So, yep.